This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Another staggering number of new COVID-19 cases confirmed in the Bahamas on Tuesday, May 31st. COVID cases have been trending upward in recent weeks, mostly in high double digits, most of them travel-related. Tuesday's data from the Ministry of Health indicating that 230 RT-PCR tests were completed on the same day, resulting in 90 confirmed cases on New Providence, 52 of them with a history of travel within 14 days. 7 on Exuma, all of them with a travel history, 3 cases on Grand Bahama, 1 on Andros, and 1 case on San Salvador. There's nearly 35,000 confirmed cases in the Bahamas. However, active cases are now at 982, with 14 patients in hospital receiving treatment. 25 people recovered from the virus on Tuesday. No deaths have been reported. The government is aiming to pay all private legal settlements in this upcoming fiscal year. Attorney General Senator Ryan Pinder says confidential settlements are not inconsistent with the Freedom of Information Act, as he says that legal matters are legal matters. His comments came in defense of the confidential settlement agreement with Financial Secretary Simon Wilson when Mr. Wilson sued the government seeking damages for libel.
Well, confidentiality clauses in settlement agreements are commonplace. They're commonplace private-to-private settlements. They're commonplace government to private sector and public sector settlements. So they're not out of the ordinary, and there's a lot of reasons for having them. Needless to say, with respect to the settlement with Mr. Simon Wilson, we had hired, we retained the services of a former senior public servant who would have gone through all of the facts and the allegations and the documents and the files on the matter, provided his professional independent advice from a senior public service point of view, and that was used with respect to constructing the settlement agreement with Mr. Simon Wilson.
When questioned on outstanding legal fees amounting to $17.7 million, AG Pinder says that the amount is now at $12.2 million, thanking the Ministry of Finance after his office worked with the ministry to reallocate funds to repay arrears.
Last week, when bills were tabled and in the communication by the Prime Minister on the budget, he alluded that there's a supplemental budget involved in this exercise as well. And that supplemental budget is required with respect to the various financial laws that are in place, the Debt Management Act and the Public Finances Act and the like. And that supplemental budget is intended to reallocate funds from this fiscal year to pay certain arrears that we met in place. He would have mentioned water and sewage, for example, as being one of that. Well, legal settlements is one of that. So we fully anticipate that for the first time in probably decades, maybe since an independent Bahamas, private settlements will be extinguished going into the new fiscal year.
A collaborative effort between the Eugene DePuch Law School and other entities aiming to provide legal advice for equal justice for communities that go without, with the launch of the community-based legal aid project. Here's Arkale Campbell with more details.
CLAP, a community-based legal aid project, has been launched in collaboration with the Eugene DePuch Law School, Attorney General's Office, the Bahamas Bar Association, and the Caribbean Agency for Justice Solutions. This project aims to provide access to justice to the public by making legal advice more accessible. Principal of the Eugene DePuch Law School, Tonya Bastian-Galanis, says part of students' training is taking part of the legal aid clinic and encourages social consciousness, emphasizing the importance of giving back to communities.
What makes this project different from any other legal aid project? Well, we will be leveraging technology and highlighting the increasing importance of technology in the legal profession. And 2, this CLAP project will be mobile in nature. And so the mobility of the clinic in our communities will be distinguishing it from other legal aid programs.
Attorney General Ryan Pinder reveals the government will support the project by outfitting a mobile home previously utilized for professional use by architects and engineers for Hurricane Dorian relief for the purpose of being a mobile legal office. AG Pinder further reveals that Cabinet has supported funding all the technology needed for the mobile home to support the activities of the legal aid clinic. Senator Pinder says the total cost of this operation could be around $75,000. However, says one cannot put a price on access to justice.
We can have the legal aid clinic through its in-house staff, but also through volunteers and with the students that are in the law school, to be able to go into the communities and into the communities that most need it, to provide access to justice to Bahamians by and large. We do not believe that access to justice is reserved for those who can pay for it, reserved to those who can hire highly qualified Queen's counsels like my colleague at the end of the table. But we believe that access to justice is a fundamental right of Bahamians. And if that means that we have to bring that access to Bahamians, that's what it means. And that's what we are going to do. So I'm here to lend my support on behalf of the government of the Bahamas, but also to say that we are looking at different innovations.
Apex Executive Director Beaver Wooding says his organization's support of the project is by providing the technology of the Access Legal Platform, a software that features managing volunteers of CLAP, providing legal information, submitting legal applications, and managed scheduling.
Now, these might all sound like very simple and very typical uses of technology, but in this sector, for this particular application, this is actually very pioneering. And I do want to commend the Legal Aid Clinic and the Eugene DePuche Law School for taking this bold step toward using the available technology to make it easier and to make it a lot less intimidating for persons to come forward and say, I have a need, can you please assist? The final two areas that the platform supports would be the electronic management of the cases and case documents. So you have the component that addresses how you apply for legal aid services. You have the component that addresses how you manage the scheduling of the consultations. But then you also have the actual documents that need to pass to and fro between persons. And of course, with legal aid, you have volunteer attorneys. And so it's important that those documents and notes around the case or the matter can be shared as easily as possible with the legal professionals. The system, Access Legal, also provides support for that.
The project will officially start at the end of June at a physical location in Centerville, with more information to be revealed in the coming months. Capacity of the project will be driven by volunteers and attorneys available. Teams will go through communities that tend to not receive legal aid, helping with completing forms and providing information. For JCN News, I'm Cale Campbell.
As the royals, millions of Britons, and Commonwealth nations mark Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee today, and just one day after the Office of the Governor-General advised that Her Majesty the Queen has recognized the outstanding services and contributions of 18 persons here in the Bahamas, Foreign Affairs and Public Service Minister Fred Mitchell, during his contribution to the budget debate in the lower chamber today, contends that we as a country should come to a point where the Queen's honors fall away.
This morning, I got a number of calls, one of which from the Reverend Canon Sebastian Campbell, to ask us about the announcement on Queen's Honors. And some people were saying that they had made nominations for national honors and were shocked to see that their nominees had not been chosen. So I had to say to them that the honors that were announced over the last days are not the national honors. The national honors are conferred as a result of an act of the Parliament of the Bahamas by the Governor General, who is the Chancellor of the Orders.
Now, those honors are set to be announced in July during the Bahamas' independence celebrations, with conferring of honors slated for October this year during National Heroes Day.
I was really heartened by the number of nominations that were advanced by the Bahamian public. It's clear that the honors are now gaining currency, and we should come to a point where the British honors fall away. It just seems to me very strange to be talking about the Order of the British Empire for an empire that no longer exists. So we have to get to that.
Queen Elizabeth II, 96, came to the throne 70 years ago and is Britain's longest ever reigning monarch. 4 days of celebrations kicked off in England with the Trooping of the Colour, the military parade that marks the Queen's official birthday. This evening, more than 3,500 beacons will be lit across the UK and the capital cities of Commonwealth countries. Well, that's a look at what's making our evening newscast. I'm Lissy Bastian, and from all of us here at JCN News, have a terrific Thursday and a safe Labor Day, everyone.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.